Hare Krishna. Welcome to our channel, Bhagavad-gita. Here it is, because we have it. Bhagavad-gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and my name is Labangalatika. So if you have been following us, you would know that we are in the 11th chapter, and today I will read text 39.
Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang.
And this chapter has been a very spectacular chapter. Krishna is showing some extraordinary aspects of himself. Of course, speaking of God, extraordinary is not extraordinary, it's just quite kind of his nature. But whereas we started from the second chapter in a very philosophical note, and also on a very basic philosophical point that we can all, or we should all be able to understand, seeing the difference between the soul and the body, seeing the nature of the soul. Now we're coming closer to Krishna as a person. Because it's all right to be philosophical and say that there is spirit beyond matter, but to come to the point to acknowledge the personality of Godhead, that is it's actually not very difficult. We all have personalities, right? And we all see that everything has a source and comes from somewhere. So it's not an unusual idea that there should be a God behind everything, and that God, among his many other attributes of power and strength and being unlimited, being spiritual, he's also perfectly able to be a person. But in this chapter he shows some aspect of himself from this universe in a universal sense, and it is quite spectacular. I will read text 39. Vayuryamo varuna shakshanka prajapatistvang pratita mahascha namo namastestu sahasrakritva punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. Still Arjuna speaking. You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great-grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. And this is the natural relationship to have to God's power. God is all-powerful, and there's nothing we can do about it. And if we don't like that, then we can take the path of illusion. We can decide that we don't want to know that. And then Krishna allows us this illusion. He allows us to forget him. He allows us to see a world without him. And such a world does not exist. There is nothing without Krishna. And here he's showing himself in that context, and Arjuna is seeing it as such and responding with prayers. And prayers are both coming from the sentiment of the heart, but they are also relating to the real actual situation. So he's not just saying something nice to Krishna because Krishna is his friend. He's describing the reality that Krishna has enabled him to see. How all these aspects of the world, air, fire, water, the moon, everything comes from Krishna, and he's the controller of it. Purport. The Lord is addressed here as air because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods, being all-pervasive. Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the great-grandfather because he's the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe. Yeah, let's read another verse. Text 40. Nama purustad ata pristhataste namostute sarvata eva sarva ananta viryamita vikramastvang Sarvang samapnoshi tato shri sarvaha. Obeisance to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Purport. Out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend Arjuna is offering his respect from all sides. He is accepting that he is the master of all potencies and all prowess, and far superior to all the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. Yes, so we must remember the situation. We must not forget that this Bhagavad-gita is spoken, not in the armchair discussion between philosophical friends, but it's not in the middle of the battle, because the battle is just about to begin. It hasn't begun yet, but it is in front of everybody on the battlefield, on this situation of probably the greatest battle in the world ever. Everyone was there, and Arjuna has not very willingly come to this situation, but at the same time he has accepted it. But now he's standing there and thinking, no, this is not what I want. This is not where I want to go. This is not who I want to be. And he turns to Krishna, and Krishna is not just saying, well, Arjuna, you're a warrior, this is your duty, just get on with it. We all know how important Dharma is. That also comes up, of course, it's part of the discussion. It's not the complete discussion, it's probably not even the most important part of the discussion. The most important part is to establish reality. We are not this body, we are the soul within the body. And that's us. But then what are we meeting? Us being spirit soul, what are we relating to? That is Krishna. So here we see, if we're looking to this world, whatever we see here is nothing but Krishna. And therefore, a good idea is to understand Krishna for who he really is and turn to him directly. Purport. Arjuna is offering respects to Krishna. He's accepting that he's the master of all potencies and all prowess, and far superior to all the great warriors. That's where we were assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Vishnu Purana, Yo yang tavagato deva samipang devata ganaha satvameva jagat srashka yata sarvagato bhavan. Whoever comes before you, be he a demigod, he is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. I think I will read one more verse. And with one more verse, I mean two verses, because they come together. It takes 41 and 42. Sakheti matva prashabhang yaduktang he Krishna he Yadava he Sakheti ajanata mahimanang tavedang maya pramadat paranaye navapi yachavaha sarthamasat kritosi viharasaya bhojaneshu eko tavapyachuta tatsamakshang tatkszamaye tvam aham aprameyam. Translation. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all these offenses. Yes, I will read the purport first. Although Krishna is manifested before Arjuna in his universal form, Arjuna remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna and is therefore asking pardon and requesting Krishna to excuse him for the many informal gestures which arise out of friendship. He is admitting that formerly he did not know that Krishna could assume such a universal form, although Krishna explained it as his intimate friend. Arjuna did not know how many times he may have dishonored Krishna by addressing him, O my friend, O Krishna, O Yadava, etc., without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjuna as a friend. Such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten. And we can see from the behavior of Arjuna, as we can see, although Arjuna has seen the opulence in the universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. Yes, so that's kind of what I wanted to say. Here, Arjuna is stunned. He's overwhelmed. This universal form, it's more than anyone could even imagine to see. And therefore, Arjuna is reacting in relationship to that situation. But this universal form is shown right now for a purpose. And although it may look like it's everything, it's not everything. It's a way Krishna has to show how the universal form, everything in this universe, is just a part of him, and he's just always the origin, the maintainer, the force behind it. But Krishna isn't just I was going to say, he isn't just like a cloth hanger in the hallway where you put all your coats and then you see all the coats but you don't really care about the hanger. No, Krishna is more than just upholding the universe. Krishna is a person. And here Arjuna, he's coming to it in a similar way to us, because Arjuna is already established in that relationship. Arjuna doesn't come from having been in the material world for lifetime after lifetime, completely forgetting Krishna. Arjuna has a very direct and strong relationship to Krishna, but in this specific situation, he's speaking out of this ignorance, and we established that in the beginning of Bhagavad-gita, is not necessarily for Arjuna's benefit, it is spoken, but for the rest of us, for all of us, for all times. We are in this world, we come at it from this idea, here I am, I'm the center of my life, and in this way I see everything else relative to me. I see myself, maybe not in the form of a megalomaniac that the whole world revolves around me, but my perspective will always be, I'm in the center, and whatever is around me is what I have to relate to. So Arjuna isn't really there, but he displays that sort of behavior. So then Arjuna, Krishna starts to tell him about the nature of the soul and so on. And then he comes to this point. And this is an important point for all of us. Although the universal form may feel a little foreign, both to our material way of looking at the world, and maybe also to our spiritual way of wanting to develop that devotion to Krishna if we have started to practice Bhakti Yoga. But the universal form is there to show us Krishna can do this, nobody else can do this. So if we turn to Bhakti Yoga and we worship Krishna, we must understand his position also. It is not like the impersonalist conception is sometimes this, that the Supreme is impersonal, without features, without differentiation. But for us in the conditioned stage, it is very difficult to focus on that. So we focus on Krishna for a little while until we become that. And that is a very, that's a very offensive mentality. That's very rude, actually. Krishna is a person, and let's accept that and appreciate that. But also we have the other side of the coin. Sometimes people will come to Krishna consciousness and they will jump in on a level beyond their realization, and they will make a kind of pretend Krishna consciousness where they dance with Krishna and they play with Krishna, and it's just like putting on a costume and showing off some kind of a play. No, we go through the gradual realization, and before understanding how we can have such an intimate relationship with Krishna that he can become our playmate and friend, and he can become our son that we have to take care of, we have to also understand that Krishna is actually God. And seeing the universal form, that becomes very plain, should be seen, understood. So Arjuna is here reacting like a regular person. oh, you are so powerful, you are so mighty, and you are worthy of all this respect. And look at me, I've been treating you just like a regular friend. Please forgive me. But actually, there's nothing to forgive because Arjuna has that relationship of friendship, and that is what we aim for. And Prabhupada says it here, it's very nice. Even in the middle of seeing this universal form, Krishna cannot forget that friendship because that is his natural relationship and his natural attitude. So, yes, it is wonderful to go through this Bhagavad-gita step by step and text by text and chapter by chapter. And I hope you are enjoying it as much as I do. Any questions, please leave them. Well, there's lots of room to leave comments. This is YouTube after all. And we will continue to put out these episodes. Right now, as you see, I'm trying, or I don't know, maybe you don't see, but this is my home and I'm sitting here and doing my best recording on my own, appreciating even more all the wonderful help I usually get in that regard. But, please stay with us and we'll go through these weird times by holding on to the Bhagavad-gita. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna,